Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because we need that today more than ever. Okay, I need you guys to be listening. I need you guys to be showing as much love and support as you can when it comes to this particular case right here. This is the first time I've ever spoken or have covered this case personally. All right. So this is still a very brand new case for me. And I think it's going to be a very brand new case for a lot of you guys out here as well. And this is the reason why we're bringing this up. All right. It's been almost a year since this young mother has been seen. Again, it's been almost a year and she still has not been found. And I know that the family is very, very concerned that this story, this case, will just go straight cold, dead in the water. And I'm hoping that by us having this conversation, rounding around back to the foundation of this, the origin of this story, that we can bring more awareness to Layla Santanello's case and everything around it as well, so that maybe we can find her and we can bring her back home to safety. So do me a favor. We got a couple things that I'm asking you guys to do. It's very simple. All right. I'm not asking for much. It takes 2 seconds to hit that like button down below. It helps this case, this story for Layla, get out there to more people, because it is a case that not a whole lot of people know about. So please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'll be greatly appreciated. All right. Please do not forget to crush that follow button if you're watching on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter. Follow me on those social medias. That'll be greatly appreciated. Of course, crush that subscribe button down below if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, you can always support the channel by hitting that join button down below or going and checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. It's in the ticker down below, going that way as we speak, right underneath me as we speak. Okay, guys, got to get all that stuff out the way. All right. But as you guys know, as I just said a second ago, this young mother, 21-year-old, would be now 21, Layla Santanello, was last seen in around June 27th of 2023, out of Kingsport, Tennessee. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of theories revolving around this young mother's disappearance. I have a lot of questions as well. But first, I do want to share with you guys this flyer so that we can get straight to the points here, right? So it says, of course, missing and endangered young adult, Layla Santanello. She went missing out of Kingsport, Tennessee. She is 4'10". She is between 115 to 135 pounds. Her eye color is brown. Her hair color is brown, but had been dyed bleach blonde, as you can see to the photo to the right. All right. Now, she's now 21 years old. She was last seen on June 27th, 2023. Her last confirmed sighting was in the grassy field region behind the AmeriCorps Hotel, located in 1900 American Way, Kingsport, Tennessee. Sources say she spoke with a group of men asking for a cigarette and walked away shortly thereafter. There have been no confirmed sightings of her since. Layla is a mother to daughter Nova Grace, and her loved ones are desperately seeking for information. And again, if you know of anything, please call Kingsport Police Department, 423-343-9780, or you can call TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. That's 1-800-TBI-FIND. All right. Now, again, this young woman up and just, I guess, disappeared. The mother of Layla, Jennifer Santanello, received some very strange text messages from from her Facebook, from her boyfriend, her then boyfriend, Mike Thompson, basically saying, "Hey, do you think that she could be in jail?" Of course, there's been a lot of interesting questions circulating around Mike, Layla's whereabouts, and if he has anything to do with that as well. Now, of course, I want to make sure it's abundantly clear that they don't look at him as a suspect in this disappearance right now. I think that's abundantly clear, or I want to make that abundantly clear before we continue on in our conversation. There's a lot that we got to talk about. I got a lot of questions. There's a lot of things going on in this conversation. So please welcome the mother of Layla Santanello, Jennifer Santanello, to the show. Good morning, Jennifer. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine. As fine as can be expected, I guess.
No doubt. No doubt. First off, I want to say a big thank you for being on the show, for just being here, because I can only imagine. I mean, you got plenty of things on your table. Plenty. I'm sure your plate is runneth over with searches, passing out flyers, trying to bring awareness about your daughter's disappearance. But let me ask you this, before we go all the way back, how have things been in the search for your daughter right now?
To be completely honest with you, slow. Things have been a little bit slow. I am trying to drum up more media coverage, and doing stuff like this really, really helps. So thank you for having me. Thank you for feeling it within you to talk about her and her case.
Of course.
I feel like through the winter months, things kind of slowed down, and now that the weather is warmer, I want to get more searches going. I want to get out there and see what we can find. Or
Looks like we lost Jennifer there. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on, guys. Okay, I think we got her back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It happens. The internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was just asking you how how things been in the search. You can continue where you left off.
Where did I leave off? I was talking about how now that the weather's gotten warmer, I want to start doing more searches and at least crossing off areas of interest and say, okay, we checked there. It's been thoroughly checked. She's definitely not out there. Searches are hard for me because when you're out there and you're physically like turning over rocks and bushes, you're not looking 10 11 months in, you're not looking for a live person. And so that can be very, very difficult to think about. You're looking for remains at that point. And so I have to constantly tell myself, like, I haven't lost faith. I'm just making sure that this is not the case and crossing it off the list,
Right.
rather than, I'm going to hunt down her remains, because to me, that just means that it's devastating at the end. And I don't want to believe that yet. I'm not ready for that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. But I'll say this: anything's possible, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know that right now that's probably that's the probable outcome, right? But at the same time, I mean, anything's possible. She could still be out there. She could be anywhere, right? Shoot,
and I have to hang on to the hope. I have to hang on to the hope that I'm going to see her again.
Definitely don't give up on that, for sure. But we got to go all the way back to the beginning. Now, I understand around June 24th, I guess, you received a DM from Layla's Facebook, if I'm correct.
Yes.
But it was written by Michael, which is her then boyfriend.
Yes.
Saying something along the lines of this, which was, you know if Layla is in jail. And of course, you know, you responded back when you had a second and you said, why would she be in jail? Why is she not with you? What the F is going on? I called Kingsport and Sullivan County. Both said she's not there. So can we go? I know that's like going all the way back, and I know you've talked about this at nauseum, but unfortunately, there's a lot of us that are still new to this case. There's a lot of us that are listening right now that want to know what's going on. So what exactly is going on here? You know, because I know that she's been reported missing or last seen on the 27th of June, and this is June 24th. So can you explain a little bit of the timeline here? Because I'm sure a lot of us are scratching our heads about this right now.
Absolutely. So, him texting me from her account was not rare. It was something that did happen often, or her texting me from his account happened pretty often because they were sharing a phone. And so if she needed to contact me, whoever's Facebook was up, she wouldn't log out and log back in. She would just like shoot me the message from whichever one of their things was already active, right? So I would hear from her on his account and him on her account, and it was normal. That wasn't the weird thing. The weird thing was him not knowing where she was and reaching out to me asking where she was. And that is because they were very codependent, and you never saw one without the other. And she had been isolating from us and more gravitating towards him for the 18 months that they have been together. So by now, like, he would know more than I would where she's at specifically. Like, I hear from her on a regular basis, but it's not her always telling me where she is, or she had kind of stopped reaching out to the family or wanting to spend time with the family outside of holidays and things at that point. So, like, for him to be reaching out to me asking if I know if she's in jail or if I know where she is, like, that panicked me because like, she's always with you. What are you talking about? What is going on? And obviously he did not respond to those messages. I asked him questions in response to his question because he had me all freaked out. I called hospitals and jails. She wasn't anywhere. It turns out that the night before, the two of them had an argument and she left, or there was an argument. I don't know exactly if it was him and her or her and someone else in his family or everyone combined. I don't know all the details. I wasn't there, but there was some kind of an issue where and then it's been said that he said something to her along the lines of like, you need to get your crap together. And my daughter's a very prideful person, and I can see that setting her off. Like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm out. Whatever. I'll show you. I'll get my crap together. I'll show you, and I'll do it without you. Like, I can totally see that happening. And now it's about 24 hours later, and that's when I get that message. He hasn't been able to find her for 24 hours. She left. He hasn't been able to find her for 24 hours. I don't think too much of it. I go ahead and figure, they're in some type of an argument, and she's with a friend, and whatever, she'll reach out, and she did.
I want to show those too, because let me show you guys this really quick, guys. All right. So apparently, and I'm gonna zoom in so everybody can see this. But she a few hours later, same day, June 24th, she says, "I'm okay." And then you said, "Thank God." And this was the next morning, June 24th. She says, "I'm fine, Mom." And then you said, "Why the hell did he think you were in jail for?" I don't know. I've been with a friend. I don't have a phone to text or call. I'm using someone else's. Okay. And you say, "Okay, I love you." And she says, "I love you so much more." Now, the thing is, though, I mean, just for me, and I think everybody, is going to be saying the same thing, the elephant in the room. Are we sure that this is her texting you back at this time? Did you physically see her before the June 27th? Physically see her?
I did not. However, law enforcement was able to track and trace all of her steps from the time she left Michael's until the 27th. They have interviewed everyone that came into contact with her multiple times.
Okay.
And it would turn out that those messages were sent from a tablet that was loaned to her while she was staying with a particular friend. And they were able
Interesting.
to, like, with technology and the different way IP addresses, like all of the things, they were able to discern what messages came from Layla, what messages came from Michael, because he was not just messaging me from her account. He spent the
Mhm.
next several days messaging different people from her account. So during the moments that she's messaging me, he was using the account too, and
Well,
from a different address. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Oh, I see. I see.
Mhm.
So why was he messaging other people from her account? I mean, was
He,
he messaging other people because he was still trying to find her, or was he
mhm.
trying to? Okay, all
He was
right,
trying to find her, and he had access to that account. So
okay.
you got to also, now it's Sunday morning. She's done left his house Friday. It's Sunday morning that I'm talking to her. I know he
Mhm.
has access to this account. So I'm not going to ask like a bunch of questions about like what happened. Are you
Right.
okay? Are you fighting with Michael? Like, I don't want to make things worse for her. I know he can look and see what we're saying. So like I don't want to get him riled up. If she needs space from him, I'm all for it. Great. Like,
Totally
that's, she's
understandable.
an adult, and I was actually relieved. I thought this is a good thing.
Yeah.
They were not in a healthy relationship. It wasn't something that I was excited about. So
Yeah.
now she's been away from him for 3 days, which is, as far as I know, the longest time she's ever stayed away from him. So I'm like, okay, this is great. Maybe she'll decide that she wants to come home. Maybe she'll decide that she wants to move forward on her own. Like, I,
I
I
see.
was hopeful at that point.
No, and I understand that. I mean, of course, whenever you know that your loved one or someone you know that you care for is in a toxic relationship, you're going, okay, hopefully, well, one, either you're trying to help them seek refuge or you're
Yeah,
hoping that they'll find the path to refuge at some point, right? So I got
right.
a question though here though. She says I don't have a phone to text or call. And you mentioned earlier she doesn't have a phone. Why didn't she have a phone exactly?
That's a long, complicated story. I'll try and make it as short as possible.
Go ahead.
In the last week of February of 2023, Layla
Mhm.
had a phone. She had a very nice iPhone. I think by the time all this went down, the screen on it was broken, but it was still working. And my mom actually bought her the phone and was paying monthly payments towards the phone and was contracted and paying for the unlimited plan and like all the things so that she could always get in touch with us. And Michael had just a phone that wasn't attached to any kind of like internet or what data, right? So on this particular day, Michael went out. Layla stayed at his house. He left her the phone that could be used on Wi-Fi, and he took her phone that he could travel around and use, and he was arrested. And when he was arrested, they confiscated her phone from him and put it into evidence, and we
Mm.
could not get it back. Even though technically it was my mother's phone and my mother's name and like all the things, like she tried to get it back from them, they would not give it up. So at this point, she and him were sharing a phone, and it didn't seem to be a big issue because they were always together. So it really didn't become an issue until this point.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because instantly, I mean, okay, so you're saying police saw through their, digital witchcraft of doing whatever they did. They,
Mm-hmm.
they could tell that someone was indeed using a tablet somewhere
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else, and
Yes.
that Mike, when he was using that phone, he was somewhere
Mm-hmm.
else as well at this around the same
Around the same
time.
time. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So, but then at the same time, though, that could be anybody using that tablet,
Yes.
texting and whatnot, right?
Absolutely, that's not incorrect, but because of the interviews the officers had done, they knew that this one boy that she had spent like a good 24 hours with had given her that specific tablet, and they were able to like trace all the things, you
I
know what I
see.
mean? Like, because they did talk to literally every person that she was in contact with from Friday to Tuesday morning several times. There were so many interviews, tons of search warrants, tons of evidence collected, like
I see.
all of that stuff was done. So they
Okay.
say, it's a 95% chance that it was actually Layla.
Okay.
messaging you that morning.
Okay, so then explain to me, just a little bit of this timeline then, because it says on this flyer at least, and I know in many other flyers it says, and I'll just scroll in and zoom in. It says she was last seen on the 27th of June.
Right.
So if there was text messages, if she walked out the door on the 23rd, feeling some type of way, she Mike sends you a text message or a DM via Facebook on the 24th saying, could she be in jail? Then you get a correspondence with her later on that night. You talk to her on the 25th via tablet, and you on your phone on via Facebook. So then what happens within those 2 days? Because there's the 25th, the 26th, and then the 27th, she is quote unquote last seen. So what is those last 48 hours before she literally just vanishes off the face of the planet? Can you explain that timeline, or do we know
Yeah.
about that timeline?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that Sunday, she spent a huge part of that Sunday in one place with one friend. There was some type of an altercation. I don't know if it happened later that night or the next day, but in the Layla was not involved in the altercation, but there was some type of an altercation with other people in that house. And in the madness, the tablet was stolen that Layla was using, and some of Layla's things were stolen. And then the next day, she was like, I just want to get out of here. Like, this is craziness. Just get me out of here. And someone who, from what I understand, she did not know very well, drove her to the AmeriCorps Hotel to get her out of the craziness of whatever was going on, right? This gentleman knew someone who was living at the AmeriCorps Hotel and took Layla there. And they were there for several hours on Monday. She was on camera. She, at some point, she walked out of the room where she was hanging out with them, and I still don't know what she left the room for. But she couldn't find her way back. She could not for the life of her remember what room it was she was supposed to be in, that kind of stuff. She was knocking on wrong doors. Like, there's just a lot of madness going on. There was some camera footage of all of this. And then at some point, someone complained, and either management or an employee came out, had a conversation with her, from what I understand. At that point, she started like hiding. Like, she didn't want to be a bother, and she didn't want to get kicked off the property, but she couldn't find her friends, and they had not come out yet to look for her. So she was kind of like hiding and hanging out in a corner area or something. And a little bit later, police pulled in. Now, they were not there for her. There was something else happening on premise. She didn't know that. So witnesses allegedly saw her run through the parking lot and into a patch of woods that's behind that hotel. So now she's in the woods behind the hotel. Nobody sees her again after that until the next morning. I will tell you that there are blankets and pillows and almost like a homeless encampment back there.
Okay.
During COVID, that hotel housed a lot of the homeless, and I don't know if, like, as those vouchers ran out, if they moved out to the woods or whatever, but there's a bunch of stuff out there. Not a whole lot of people, but a lot of stuff. So the next morning, she was seen, the next morning would be the 27th. She was seen leaving those woods. There's a big field. There's the hotel, the woods, this long, like, football field size field. And at the end of the field is a warehouse. And in the warehouse, there's employees, right? So now it's like 6, 7 a.m. Employees are pulling up to go to work. They're getting out of their cars. She went over, as soon as she saw somebody, she did not ask for help. She asked to bum a cigarette. These gentlemen did not smoke, and they told her so. And she was polite and said, "Thank you, appreciate it, have a great day." And she walked off in the direction of, we call it the Green Belt. You can actually look it up under that name. It's like a walking, hiking skating, biking trail that runs all the way through town. And so if you are on foot, that's your quickest way to get anywhere. It's super fast. If you know what I mean, it's the best way to get around.
Mm-hmm.
She was barefoot though. Like this is the thing that blows my mind. She left whatever things she had, she left them in that room and then couldn't find her way back to the room. So now she has nothing on her. No wallet, no purse. It's her leggings, her tank top. She has no shoes on. She's got her hair back. And she just wanders off towards the trail and is never seen or heard from again.
Okay. Wow, it's a lot to consume, right? A lot of details there.
Yeah.
But she was also barefoot. So
Yep.
she was barefoot, no shoes. Wow. So I gotta ask you something, and I'm just asking this out of pure respect, and I do not want to come off disrespectful to you at all or anyone in your family at all. But is there any history of drug use with Layla?
There is.
Okay.
She had very recently entered into a struggle with addiction. It hadn't been 6 months to a year that it began, and I wouldn't know exactly when it began, but I only found out 3 or 4 months prior. And I, as her mother, was in the process of like battening down the hatches and like getting ready to like walk this journey with her. I knew it was going to get hard. I knew it was going to get difficult. She knew that if she, she needed help, she could come here. She knew that all I wanted was to help her in the best ways that I could. She wasn't ready for any of that. It was new, and she still felt like she had some semblance of control. She had a plan. The times that we talked about it, that's what she would say. She'd say, I have a plan.
Yeah.
And she thought she could control it. And I knew she couldn't, but she had to learn that on her own, and I knew that as well. It drives me crazy because I had so little time. I had so little time to prepare for this. You know what I mean? I thought that I was going into a very difficult situation. When having a child under that type of circumstance, it's difficult on a family. And then she was gone, just gone, out of just no more. And it's still, my mind just reels because this is not how it's supposed to happen.
I understand. I can't even imagine, but all right. So she was clean when she left, or
no?
Okay.
No. By then she was under, and I don't know.
So you're saying around the 23rd, 24th, around that time, 23rd to 27th,
yeah,
she was under the influence.
Yes.
Okay.
As far as I know.
And what's the story with Mike then? Was he enabling this addiction, or was he clean and sober? And go ahead.
When Michael and Layla first started dating, she told me that she helped him get clean. So the thing about my daughter is that she has experienced addiction in her life as, the family member of an addict. I myself am a recovering addict. Her father is a recovering addict, and she saw a lot of things, right? And so she was very anti-drugs, anti-substances, just very strongly against it. She was very vocal about it. She's judgmental about it even. And like to the point where she would just cut friends off and stuff, right? So the two of them get together, and she tells me a little while into it that, I helped him get clean. And the way she talked about it made it seem like she believed that like this made her and him bonded, and she was his savior, and they were going to have this happily ever after type relationship, and everything was going to be great. And I worried, but there wasn't anything I could do. My worry was that he would fall and that he would drag her with him. And it does turn out there were studies done. This is something I've looked into recently, and I might be wrong exactly on the numbers or exactly how it's worded, but a sober female with a male addict is 80% chance of falling victim to addiction themselves. If you are a female and with a male partner who is using, you're 80% more likely to pick up the habit as as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. And those numbers blew my mind. I was like, that's
shocking.
wild.
That's very shocking. But man, okay.
Not that I necessarily want to like put it all on Michael. She is an adult. She was making her own choices. It was like the perfect storm. And she had just had a baby, and 3 months after, it's hard to talk about. 3 months after Layla had her first child and my first grandchild, my father, the most consistent male figure in her life and mine, passed away. He died by suicide, and it was traumatic for all of us. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, it was pretty bad. And so Layla was also struggling with like postpartum. Like there was a lot going on with her mentally. And it wasn't 3 months after my father's death that her and Michael got together. And I feel very strongly that she latched onto him to cope. She had lost the favorite man in her life, and she was reaching to fill that void. And here comes Michael, and here we are. And
yeah. And then down that deadly spiral of addiction we go, right?
Yeah.
So of course I'm just sharing a little bit of some video. Beautiful daughter, by the way.
Thank you.
Can you, before we continue on in the conversation, can you just let us know a little bit about Layla herself? I hear a lot about how she's so strong, very strong-willed, very very prideful, stubborn, and that could be a pro and a con, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But can you just let people know a little bit about who Layla is real quick?
She was a willful child. Raising her was not the easiest thing in the world. It was not a walk in the park. She wants what she wants, and she's resourceful as all get out. She will find a way to make a way to reach whatever goal it is that she sets. She is the type of person that can find opportunities everywhere, and she's got this huge energy, this just enormous, enormous energy. Like, she's just like really, really extra as a whole human. She's sassy and quick-witted and strong physically and mentally, and she's creative. She has a beautiful voice. She's always like pouring into something creative. I have so many pictures where she's drawing or singing or dancing, or like she just was always creating things. This is her little fish that she made in like 4th grade. It's the weirdest little guy. His little fin broke. But
that's
like,
great.
right? Like,
That's
I don't. The way her mind works has always like really astounded me.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
She's just full of life. Full of life. Now, by the time all of this was happening, she had lost a lot of herself. I was seeing less of my daughter when I looked at my daughter, and that was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Take your time. We're here. I ain't going anywhere. All right. Now, and thank you so much for sharing that. Because she does sound amazing, right?
Yeah. And
Every,
I think difficult too, though. Willful people, man, like they're, I
it
don't
is
want to say
what
it
it
was
is.
all rainbows and sunshines. Like, she was opinionated and she let you know about yourself when she wanted,
Hey,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
she was a lot, but she was a lot to love.
yeah.
So,
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather have a strong-willed,
hmm
stubborn kid because I know they're gonna get out there and
hmm
they're just gonna kick butt, right?
Oh yeah.
They're gonna survive, right? Um, so I of course I got to get into these other questions because there's you told us the timeline, and first off, thank you so much for sharing all that with us. Okay, because I know a lot of us don't know a lot about Layla, so thank you. She sounds lovely. I mean, as lovely as this picture right here. Okay. And by the way, what is her favorite color? Do you know what her favorite color is?
Purple.
Purple.
Or at
Oh,
least it was for a long time.
hey, nothing wrong with purple. But I want to ask the fam to put in some purple heart emojis. Okay, if you're feeling moved, put some purple heart emojis in the chat for Layla, please, and thank you. We like purple here. If you didn't already notice, I mean, there's just
Yeah.
purple everywhere. But I'm swimming in purple. But we do have to get into the
I know.
leading up to her disappearance and all that. And I hate
Yeah.
to get into these questions, but I'm gonna have to ask these. So here's the thing. So she went to this hotel, right?
Yeah.
She had a fight with Mike.
hmm
She was under the influence. She went to this hotel. She was at this hotel with some people. Who are these people, and why was she at this hotel with these people? Do we know anything about that at all?
I don't know personally very much about who these people are. I
Okay.
don't think Layla did either. I don't think she knew these people very well. I
Okay.
think that she hitched a ride with someone by happenstance and ended up, because like I said, something had gone down at the house she was staying at, right? Like I know who that boy is. Like Layla and him have known each other a long time. Um,
And
but
well,
after she left there,
okay.
she from what I understand, she left there because things got a little crazy and heated with a different group of people. So she grabs a hold of whoever is headed out, and that she ends up at the AmeriCorps Hotel. um i don't I don't know what the plan was from there. I don't know
Mhm.
if she was just going to stay there and hang there for a while, or I have the feeling that she was just trying to keep away from Michael, and she was trying to prove something, like I
Okay.
can handle myself and I'm okay, I don't need you type stuff.
So
Um,
it wasn't drug related at all.
I
Her going
don't
into
know.
that.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah, it's very possible. It's
Okay.
very, very likely, you know?
Okay. Okay. Because I understand that there was okay, after she leaves this house. Okay, and I hate to go backwards a little bit,
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
did you have a conversation with the guy who actually was with her before she left that particular house? Did he say anything? Was she acting strange? Was there, did he give you any details about what happened before she actually left, aside from that fight that had nothing to do with her? Because it
N
seems like
n
she,
Not me personally,
yeah,
but those who have spoken to him have said that, he let her stay there, she needed a shower, she needed to eat, and
okay,
mind you, like, all of these people, and this is why I don't like to give their names and stuff, because these are young people who are also struggling with addiction, and I'm not trying to ruin any more lives by, like, you know what I mean, like, throwing names out there. I don't feel like that's fair. As far as law enforcement and everyone understands, she wasn't even with any of those people anymore when she actually vanished. So I'm not trying to throw these kids under the bus. They're young people. They're doing a darn good job of destroying themselves. I don't want to add to it.
right, right,
So, yeah, for the most part, like all of these people that are spending time with each other are together because they know each other, but they're really together because it's all like drug related, right?
mhm,
They all do the same things. They all have the same habits. So yeah, is it likely that whenever she went to this hotel, that's why? Absolutely. Um, I don't know exactly. Like, I don't know exactly what happened. From what I understand, she left because of that altercation, and she was mad because some of her things had gotten stolen. The tablet had gotten stolen. I don't know if they were headed there specifically for substances, but that's also
Okay.
very possible. Once they got there, whatever happened happened. If they got, if they were there, you know what I
Right.
mean?
If they were there
If
for
there were things
something,
there and she partook,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be a
Okay.
normal thing for someone in that situation. So,
Right. Because I understand that in the hotel, there were eyewitnesses saying that she was like banging on a bunch of doors.
yes.
There was commotion. So yeah, we're gonna, I want to do kind of like step by step. So there was the altercation at the house. She leaves there. She goes with these two people to this hotel. Right. She's in this hotel, but then in this hotel room, but then suddenly she's not in the hotel room and she's running around banging on doors. What's that all about? Was there another altercation? Was there another problem?
Hmm.
That's why she was banging on doors seeking help. I think that's what some people out here have
Right.
been speculating. So,
Some people have said, a lot of people have said that there was another altercation that took place in the parking lot. From what I understand, law enforcement does not believe that to be true. Um, the way she was acting and behaving makes me wonder if she didn't use a different kind of substance than what she's used to, right? Those actions,
mm,
those behaviors, from what I've been told, at one point, like, someone did actually let her into their room and was like trying to offer help, but she didn't even know what to ask for, let alone, like, she just was out of it, just not.
so she could have been. I hate to ask that, but she
Yeah,
could have been under the influence. She could have been high at this moment.
right. She absolutely
Okay,
could have.
to the
Absolutely.
to the point where of paranoia, like a
Right.
frantic, paranoid psychosis, if that makes any
Absolutely.
sense.
It's very,
Okay,
very possible, yes.
interesting. Hence the reason why she was knocking on doors
Right.
the way that
Trying
she
to
was.
figure out where she belongs and not really being, she
Okay.
wasn't, it almost, from the way people talk about it, it almost sounded like she couldn't articulate what exactly it was she was trying to find. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Or who she was trying to find, or it was strange. Like, the reports that week were just so strange
but
and
but it
terrifying.
but it wasn't like she was coming off like she was scared for her life. She was more just confused and just trying to find the right hotel room.
She did seem to be scared. So
Okay.
that's what she seemed afraid, and people were trying to help her because she was acting, paranoid and afraid,
Hmm,
but she wouldn't take anyone's help, and she couldn't, like I said, she didn't seem to be able to even ask for whatever it is that she needed.
I see.
It's odd. The reports that came out, that from, you know what I mean? Because obviously we started like posting, and we got millions of, like, not millions, but like, we got several DMs from different people who did see her that weekend and that night at the AmeriCorps, and their accounts, it sounds like she was scared. Yes, scared, delusional,
Okay.
not right, though, all the things. But, that could have all been substance related.
Right. Because I keep on. I guess the one question I do have. I'm sorry for going back a little bit, but of course, she has her battle with addiction. This is still kind of brand new. But what was her? What was she battling? What was she addicted to
Like,
exactly?
drug of choice, you mean? Opiates, the stronger ones, like fentanyl.
Okay.
So this reaction, these actions that she's taking, these things that are happening, do not know, that's not normally what happens on that
One,
particular drug,
no
right?
doubt, no
So
doubt.
it's all very confusing as to why,
If she took something harder or different, that
or
would
different, or maybe she thought she was taking what she normally does and there was something else
right.
mixed in there, or was just swapped for something. I don't know.
Okay. So she was knocking on doors. She seemed frantic, but she couldn't put into words exactly what she was frantic about. Law enforcement is called. So let's
No,
go. Law
they
enforcement
aren't
is
called
not
for
called.
her. They
Okay.
came for something else entirely. I don't even know what that was about. What exactly, they didn't tell me, but they were not there for her. She was talked to by either a manager or an employee that was working that night, and they were like, "You got to calm down, lady. Like, we're gonna have to kick you off the property. Like, simmer down." And at
Mhm.
that point, she was like hiding and like waiting for one of her friends, one of these people to like, "Oh, let's go with like, and then see, then where's Layla? Like, let's go see if she's still out there." No one does. The cops come in. Layla has no idea why they're there, but she immediately assumes that they're there for her, or I think she assumed they were there for her because as soon as they pulled in, she took off into the woods. If they were there for her, they would have chased her into the wood. You know what I mean? And we
Right,
wouldn't
right,
be here having this conversation.
right. No,
um,
no doubt, no doubt.
yeah. So she took off into the woods and then was seen coming up out of the woods the next morning. From all witness accounts, no one saw her come out of those woods until 6, 7 a.m.
Wow. Okay, so she was out there in the back, and from what I understand, it's a homeless encampment back
Sort
there,
of, yeah.
sort of.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
she was back there overnight, and that's
yeah,
when she comes back out. That's when she sees the two men. She asks for a cigarette, and then that's on the 27th,
yeah,
correct? And
yes,
they say we don't smoke, so she just
yeah,
leaves. Then she's seen without shoes on again. Is that
yeah.
her barefoot? So this entire time when she's running around knocking on doors and all that stuff,
Mhm.
she was
No shoes.
barefoot. Was she
Mhm.
was she barefoot when she left the first house, the house where the altercation was at?
Not as far as I know, I don't think so. From what I
Okay.
understand, she had things with her, her shoes in a bag, at least some of her things with her when she got there. Um, then she leaves, she can't find her way back, and this is gonna come off so crazy and creepy. It's probably I don't always add this detail.
Okay.
So it would actually turn out that after all of this happened and Layla ran into the woods, the guy whose room it was, there was some kind of like issue with the room itself. I don't know if it was like plumbing, heating, air. I have no idea. But
Hmm.
there was an issue and he called the front desk and, was complaining. And instead of sending someone up to fix it, they just pulled him out of the room and he moved rooms. So even if she would have
Oh.
gone back and like remembered where she was supposed to be at some point during the night, he wasn't there anymore. And all this stuff went with him.
Oh wow. Okay, but that would make
Mhm.
sense. The paranoia, the frantic energy,
Right.
the panic that was going through her whole entire body because she's like, all my belongings are with this
Yes,
person, and I don't even know what room he's in right now, or that
right.
they
I
are
can't
in right
find
now.
him. Yeah.
I see. Hence the reason why she was pounding on doors,
Yes.
every door she could get her hands on, trying to
Mhm.
figure out where her friends were, if you
And I
want to
use
call them
that we
friends.
use that term loosely, friends.
Right, right. If
Don't
you
I
want to
don't
call
think
them
these
friends.
people were friends, but we'll
Yeah,
call them friends.
I see. Okay. That's interesting. That's interesting information. Um, so the laptop, her shoes, all that stuff was with them in a whole other room somewhere in that hotel.
Yeah.
Now, did you talk with those people?
I have not talked to them personally. Law enforcement has.
And what did they say? What did they say? What have they said?
Law enforcement doesn't tell me all the details. I don't even know whose room it was. I was able to get the name of the person that brought her there, but I still
Hmm.
don't know the name of the guy that was like staying at the hotel. Um, there's only so many details that law enforcement gives me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and initially they told me like as much as they knew initially because initially they believed that she was just keeping away from Michael on a bender, that she would turn up, or that she was holed up at the AmeriCorps with someone else, or like that. Those were the initial theories. They did not consider her endangered. They did not believe there was any foul play involved in the first couple of weeks. Okay. So during the beginning of the investigation, they were open and honest and told us as much as they came across. It was, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks in when they stopped sharing information and put her on the missing and endangered young adult list and did the alert. And once that happened, because they now believed that there was foul play, they abruptly stopped sharing information. Because it's now like a criminal investigation, the laws in Tennessee state that they are not allowed to share the details of that type of an investigation with anyone outside law enforcement.
So
at that point, anything new that they found, they did not share with us.
So right now it's considered a criminal investigation, and they believe that there is foul play now.
Yes.
That is crazy. So weeks into
it took a little while, but yeah.
Weeks into when she initially was reported missing, they just said, oh, she was just out, trying to score and whatever. It's drug related, no big deal. She'll show up at your door at some point, when she runs out of money or runs out of drugs, type of thing.
Or maybe she'll get arrested. We even hoped that maybe she would get, caught shoplifting or something ridiculous, but nothing like that ever happened.
But then weeks into it. So how long did it finally turn into, hey, okay, it's foul play, criminal investigation? How long ago?
They put her on the endangered young adult list on August 3rd. I'm pretty sure it was August 3rd that came out. And then they didn't even really tell us oh, it's a criminal investigation now. They just stopped giving information as freely as they were. And I had to discern all of this myself over the next several months. And once I looked up the laws and understood how it all works, I was like, oh, okay, that's because they think there's foul play now. And
yeah, it's interesting because the foul play thing, it's very interesting that they would suddenly do that, weeks into her disappearance. I understand theories can change when they circle back into an investigation. Certain items might pop up and show, oh, wait, that indeed is foul play. Let's look at it this way instead now, which is interesting. That's very, very interesting. So, but how is it? I know this sounds like a rudimentary question, but how is it foul? Have they explained to you why they believe it to be foul play? What led to that theory?
No, they don't. Again, they aren't really. They're not sharing everything they're doing and all of their theories and stuff with us. I get little bitty breadcrumbs here and there, and half the time I'm asked not to talk about them, and that sucks.
Interesting. Okay, so we got to talk about this breadcrumb though. Okay, because I know that during the time of, man, this was about a month after. About 3 weeks after she went missing. We have got to talk about this. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I'm not trying to allude to anything weird towards any persons in this case, but it does make me question some things. So I'm just saying that out loud to everybody out there. Okay, this is just information that has come out that makes me wonder what's up with that. So let's take a look at this. 3 weeks after she was reported missing, give or take a few days, you and some members of your family start to get CashApp requests. So I got a little thing here. Let me show you guys what I mean. So there's one in July 10th right here. Okay. For some odd reason, $97 from Layla herself. to you or to one of your family members. It says TWIMG. I think they won't. Oh, TWLMG. They won't let me go. I think someone broke that acronym down, basically saying they won't let me go. Like somebody was holding her ransom, okay, holding her against her will and wanting ransom money, $97 to be exact, which is interesting that it's 97, not 100, not 5,000, but $97. That's very interesting. But nonetheless, let's continue. All right. Somebody did end up sending a Cash App for $1 back to her Cash App, right? And it says, for I need to hear your voice. Tell them and I will send, right? Like, you know, I need proof of life. I need proof that this is actually Layla sending me these requests. There's more. Let's continue on though. These are not in, well, these are kind of in chronological order. So here's another one for $95. I guess there keeps me hostage. I owed someone for $95. Another one here for 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes or you'll find her in pieces. $95, y'all. Okay, so so weeks into her disappearance, and suddenly you guys are getting these kinds of cash apps from Layla's Cash App. What's going through your mind at this moment here, Jennifer?
So many things. So many things. So many things. It was pretty early on. So at first I'm like, oh my God, like maybe someone really does have her. Like maybe she's stuck somewhere because she owes someone money. It's very possible, right? The thing that threw me initially though is that I was not the one to get the first one. Layla's dad's girlfriend got the first one. And I feel like if Layla were on the other end, she would, first of all, I don't think I would get a Cash App request. I think I would get a phone call. Mommy, I'm in trouble. Right. But I digress. Anyway, it still blows my mind. I get this, it's screenshotted and sent to me. I was actually with one of Layla's grade school friends and we were doing flyers and like checking up on leads and stuff. And we were sitting in a parking lot at a different, like not the AmeriCorps, a different hotel in town. We were fixing to go and talk to somebody who thinks that they saw her or whatever, and these things are popping up. All right. So I immediately send $3 and I'm like, oh my God, baby, is that you? Talk to me, right? I just keep getting these, just send the money kind of messages back. And at some point I wisened up and I was like, okay, wait. I know how to figure out if it's her. There are certain pieces of information I know no one else knows but her. Like we have the stranger danger password, right? Like it was my dad's password for me when I was a kid, and it's what we taught Layla and my children, but no one else knows. Like it's not something we talk about on a regular basis either. It's not something, you know what I mean? So I asked her, what's Pop's stranger danger password, and what's your baby brother's middle name, and just question, you know what I mean? Like questions only she would know. All of those questions are ignored. At which point I was like, okay, this is infuriating. Like, this is ridiculous. Who's doing this? I when I went into the hotel to talk to that person, I had kind of mentioned it to them. I said, look at this. We're getting all these Cash App requests. And they say to me, it's a scam. I said, it's a scam. Well, yeah, people are doing that now. And they're claiming to have your loved one and they're trying to scam you. And that's a real thing. And I understand that. But did these people know that my daughter went missing 3 weeks ago and then hack her account? Because that seems a little bit elaborate for just basic scamming. Like,
no doubt.
Yeah. So we send everything to law enforcement, and initially they even were like, oh, it's a scam. What? So the messages keep coming.
Right.
Okay, here's the weird stuff around this.
So
Here's the fun, weird stuff.
real quick, Jennifer, you're saying that, okay, because I know this is just like a little bit of a screenshot of the. You're saying there's more than just
Oh,
these
so many.
3. There's more. Okay.
Yeah, so
How
many. It
many?
went on and
How,
on and on.
how many would you say?
Oh gosh.
Real quick.
I only screenshot. I think I have like 15 screenshots of mine.
Wow.
Layla's dad's girlfriend has so many more because she kept engaging. She just kept on and kept on and kept on. At some point, like I realized like she's not on the other end of this phone. And like I just stopped engaging with the crazy person on the other side. And
So
then
you.
it's not even just the two of us. My mom got them. Layla's stepfather got them.
But see, but what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to allude to is you've had so many requests, and
Mhm.
law enforcement didn't just take the time to look into this.
They do after it becomes abundant that there are so many requests. After it
Okay.
gets like once like the next day or whatever, like a full 24 hours had passed and we had proof of not just requests from me, from her, but so many other family members were getting them. At
Yeah.
that point, law enforcement was like, oh, yeah, this is not normal. Okay, definitely we're gonna and they did look into it. And they did look into it. But
Yeah.
I want to tell you that allegedly during those first 24 hours with the Cash App requests, Layla's boyfriend, Michael, called my ex-boyfriend who was actively searching, helping to search and stuff, and cried to him and said, she's in a basement in Lynn Garden. Just tell Jen to send the money, man. Let's go get her.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, who said this exactly?
Layla's boyfriend, Michael.
Huh.
He was trying to convince us to
Mm.
send the money, even though I had already ascertained that she was not on the other end. He
Mm-hmm.
was trying to convince us to send the money anyway, claiming she
Yeah.
was in a basement, being held in a basement somewhere. It still drives me crazy that he went
Yeah.
out of his way to add to it, you know?
Oh, yeah. I hate to get straight to that point, but they did their due diligence, right? The
It
law
did.
enforcement ended up.
It took a long time. It took
It,
several weeks.
it took a minute, but they finally did do their due diligence. And then
Mhm.
guess what, fam? In fact, it was the boyfriend.
Yep.
And now he's looking at some serious time behind bars because he was out here uh, trying to demand money from Layla's family. This is a real this is a true story, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
wow indeed. Wow indeed. Yes, it does sound funny because it, and like I said, I'm not trying to say anything, but at the same time,
Mhm.
I got a lot of questions because it just doesn't make any sense that this man right here is sending out Cash App requests, trying to call in to the family, basically saying she's locked in a basement and all that. Please send the money, only to find out that it's all one big bold-faced lie. Pretty insane stuff, to
Yeah.
be completely real. And we have got to talk about Mike Thompson here,
Yeah.
okay? So this from this point on, these are just questions. Does not mean that I think that this man is the one or anything of that sort, even though the breadcrumbs look a little odd, all right? And it does shine a light on him in a very inquisitive way, all right? I'm just saying that to the fam, to everybody who's watching right now, not trying to allude to anything. I'm just trying to get down to the nitty gritty here. All right. So explain to me. I understand that they met. She helped him get clean. Then he basically helped her get into addiction. Then they
Mhm.
had a fight. You know, I'm going to skip through all the stuff they had. I'm sure, you know, from what I'm understanding, seems like a toxic relationship. They get into a little bit of a fight. She gets mad. She kicks rocks, right? He sends you messages saying, "Hey, is she? You think she may be in jail?" Which is a random text to get from anyone. Okay, and then of course she responds to you, and then she disappears and was last seen on the 27th of June. Now, the thing is, has this man, Mike, been at all helpful in the investigation for your daughter's disappearance?
Has he, I'm sorry, has he
Has he been
helped?
helpful? Has he been helpful? I mean, or has he
Um,
just been staying in the back, just sending out cash apps, acting like he's her?
right. I will say that initially he wasn't exactly a support to us, right? But he was investigating on his own. I will say that about him. He was seen all over the place. And like as the detectives were doing their research and showing up and doing interviews, like Michael was always either an hour ahead of them or an hour behind them.
Mm,
He was
okay.
investigating on his own. He was out there looking. He was not like here helping us look or with us when we went places.
Right.
He's yet to show up to like an event. We've done vigils, we've done marches, we've done big searches. He hasn't come to any of those things that we've done. But he was early on conducting his own investigation
And and
according to witnesses.
and police have cleared him. I also want to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
He has been cleared in the disappearance of Layla, but
Hmm.
of course, he's still out here trying to grab the money,
Right.
trying to get a bag
Mhm.
by committing fraud, um, which is insane to me, in my personal
It's
opinion.
insane, but
It's
it makes sense
heartless.
when you're hard up and you're an addict and you need what you
Yeah,
need,
I
and
mean
it sucks.
that's a new level of heartless. I
I
will
know.
say that it's a new level of heartless. Taking that opportunity, a tragedy like this, and trying to spin it into something else. That's a bit insane, in my personal opinion. But again, guys, I just want to make that abundantly clear. Police have cleared him for anything in connection to her disappearance. Now, okay,
It's
I.
especially heartless when you think about the fact that this boy became a part of my family for 18 months. Like,
Mhm,
we had Christmases with him and Thanksgiving with him and Sunday dinners with him. Like, we let
yeah,
him into our family, and then she goes missing, and 3 weeks later, he's scamming us and giving us hope, right? That she's on the other end of these payments.
absolutely.
Yes. Sorry, I just wanted to.
No, I understand. Has there
Yeah.
been any other incidents where he has gone up and said or manipulated the situation at all? I mean, you just said a little bit ago, especially with this Cash App thing, he was like, "She's locked in the basement," you know,
Yeah.
pay the Cash App. Has that been the only time, or has there been other times here?
No, allegedly, because I wasn't witness to any of these other times, but I have heard of a handful of other situations where he kind of, used the fact that she was missing to his advantage. For instance, I was contacted by a young woman who said that oh Lord, she she and Layla were friends like in school, right? They kind of fell apart and not like they didn't have any animosity, but they weren't best friends anymore at this point in their lives or whatever. But he reached out to her because all these kids went to school together at some point. He
Yeah.
reached out to her and was like flipping out. I know where Layla is. I need to go get her. I don't have a car. Please. It was like a month after Layla went missing. I don't have a car. I need to go get her. Please come get me. Please, please, please take me across town. I have to go get her. I know where she is.
Hmm.
So this person who doesn't even know him all that great, as far as I understand, allegedly picks him up, drives him across town to some trailer park somewhere where he, gets out, goes into the trailer. He's in there 10 minutes, allegedly. And then he comes running out. He is hysterical. Go, 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 drive, 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 hurry, hurry, hurry. The cops are coming. She's dead. She's face down in the back and she's dead. And the cops are coming and they're going to put it on me. And like all of this insanity. So young woman doesn't know anything about any of this craziness that's going on. She is, as far as I understand,
What?
she's not an addict herself. This is not the kind of world that she is in. She thought she was just helping him get Layla. So she leaves, right? She does what he says to do and leaves, and then she's checking like the newspapers and the news channels and Facebook for the next
Mhm.
several days because she figures like, okay, if all of that happened and the cops were on their way, they're gonna find Layla and it's gonna be on the news, and but that never happens.
And so the cops never showed up, didn't do anything of that sort.
No.
So he did that to score.
Yeah. As far
Have
as now,
mercy.
that's I'm gonna say allegedly, and that's what I'm thinking that he went there for because I wasn't there and I don't know for certain. But
Yeah,
why
yeah.
else would you need to ride across town, right? Like in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m.
But he don't have his own ride.
Right.
Oh, he doesn't have his own ride. Like he don't have a
Mm-mm.
no. He doesn't have a car.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a true story?
I mean, allegedly,
That's real?
right?
No.
Someone came to me and told me that story about themselves.
I mean,
So allegedly.
I wouldn't put it past him now because I mean the Cash App
Right.
story, the fact that he's been caught red-handed with
There's
the Cash App
that.
story. Yeah.
I've also been contacted by a handful of people, or it was like in July of last year, maybe beginning of August,
Right.
that different people were saying that he apparently had her EBT card, which is food stamps, and
Yeah, her
he
food
was
stamp.
trying to sell them, and no one wanted to buy them because there's an ongoing investigation, and I don't care how cheap they are. Like, you're crazy. I'm not using that card, obviously.
No doubt.
And allegedly, he then waited 5 or 6 days and called all those same people back and gave them this, like, heart-wrenching, hysterical story about having just gotten the call of his nightmares because the authorities called him to let him know that she was found dead on the side of the road. And the only reason I can think he would start a rumor like that and call all the same people he was trying to sell that EBT card the week prior to would be because he needs them to believe that she's never coming back and the case is closed so that he can get what he wants. I don't know. That's all
Wow.
speculation,
No, 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 no.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like
That is
that's the only reason I can think that he spent so many days calling people and claiming that the authorities just called him to tell him that she's dead. They wouldn't call him. They are not married. They are not family. They would call me or Layla's father. Like,
right.
it's just crazy the stuff that he's come up with.
Wow. Okay. Um, like I said, I
Yeah,
it's crazy. And it but then again, if he's willing to do the Cash App stuff,
I know.
I wouldn't put it past him at all from what I'm seeing or from what I'm hearing now. But I'm still kind of curious why he's still been like what makes him cleared
I don't
from
know.
police unless it's just the timeline and the fact that she was seen running away from the hotel because she thought she was in trouble with police. And then of course the last time she was seen was with talking to those two men asking about a cigarette. I could see the connections behind that, but I don't know. I get it to a certain extent. I'm not trying to, put any
Right.
pushback on police, and I'm not trying to sit here and say, "Oh, it's all his fault." Him doing these evil, disturbing, and heartless things still does not mean
No.
is an admission of guilt. It still does not mean that he's guilty, right? In the court of in the court of law, right? Innocent until proven guilty, right?
Right.
But I can see where the court of public opinion could be looking at him and giving him a side eye with everything that's
Mhm.
going on. But I appreciate you just covering that piece because I know that's a piece that's recently has been developed over the past few
Yeah.
months and whatnot. But now the thing is I want to shift over to the search, right? I'm
Mhm.
sure in the very beginning the search was very thick, very prominent,
Yeah.
and very much just at an all-time high, all pistons firing off. So where are we at now with the search for Layla right now? Are you guys just passing out flyers? Are you guys still taking out dogs, search and rescue, boots on the ground, combing through areas and whatnot?
I would like more search and rescue. Um, Initially, we waited and allowed authorities to handle like the big grid searches and stuff. And they did a huge portion of the areas around where she was last seen and cleared all of that. The issue, from what I understand with law enforcement and doing searches through with themselves, is that they don't have a different location to check, and searches are expensive, and if we don't know where to go and look, then you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were lots and lots and lots of small group searches throughout the fall, and then there was another more broad search with an actual like search and rescue person who has like credentials that came out and did some searching in November. Since then, it's slowed down. It's just been like small groups here and there. I do have a handful of amazing humans that are part of our Facebook group. And, if I do get contacted by like a medium or a psychic or someone that says, hey, I really feel strongly that you should check this location, I
Yeah.
can contact these people and they will go and they will check things out and send footage and pictures to whoever it is who was like, hey, you should check, and communicate with them, that kind of stuff. Because it's kind of hard for me. I have Nova Grace, Layla's daughter, full time. It's hard for me to just like drop everything and run out into the woods with a toddler, especially when what you're looking for out in those woods is the remains of that toddler's mother. So
Mhm.
I have places right now that I would like cleared with larger parties. Um, I've been contacted by a few different search and rescue teams that want to come up and help, and we're in the works for planning all of that. But now that the weather's warmer, I'm hoping to get some more things done, because even like the search in November, there weren't divers or dogs, there were drones and volunteers. And even that search just went over the same areas that law enforcement did pretty much. They came out and just reran all the same area. I think it's time to start looking elsewhere. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Do you think that maybe she crossed state lines? Do you think that she's maybe in another city, or
it's
anything of
so
that sort?
possible. It is so possible because it's not 10 minutes to Virginia, right? Where I am at in Tennessee, I'm in the northeast corner. So it's 10 minutes to Virginia, 45 minutes to North Carolina, South Carolina 30 minutes, Kentucky an hour. Like, you can get out of the state so quickly from here. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious about the possibility of any other locations that she may be at, because I mean it's been a year now, or it's
Yeah.
going to be a year. Hopefully it doesn't round up to a year. How's that? Hopefully today,
Mhm.
she just comes to the door and just knocks on the door and she's fine. But I am quite curious as to, since it's been so much time,
Yeah.
if she could have moved to other places and, man, other states, for crying out
Absolutely.
loud. Now, I know that the police are saying foul play. Are they saying that this is a recovery, or are they still looking at this as a rescue?
They aren't saying. They don't say.
When was the last time you had a conversation with law enforcement?
It's been it's been about a month, I think. And even then, it's really just the lead detective. He'll call and check in on me,
Mhm.
but like he doesn't really answer my questions. I can't tell you that. I can't go into that. Like, what I mean? And it's always a very respectful conversation, and I appreciate him. And I have to continue to believe that he's doing everything in his power, and I have to respect the man's wishes and the people who are working on this case's wishes. but you know, it's
Yeah.
getting frustrating
No,
not
I
having
believe
all the information,
I definitely
not
believe.
knowing what they do know, not knowing, you know what I mean? Like at this point, there could be so many other things going on that I know nothing about, and it gets frustrating. My mind goes so many places. Like,
I totally understand that. I mean, especially when it's been so long and you haven't had
mhm,
any new
and
developments really at all. Yeah, you're the mind's gonna run, right? The theories and the speculations are gonna just get more and more prominent in your head. They're gonna become so deafening that you can't even think straight. So I totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, is the relationship with you and law enforcement, your family and law enforcement, has that been strong? Has it been very open and transparent, or has it been just kind of whenever they give you information, they give you information?
I wouldn't, again, it's not been super transparent because the law, and they say that they can't share everything with us, right?
Right.
But they do, for instance, there's another little girl here in town who went missing a few months after Layla, right? And she went her last seen was like 5 miles away from where Layla was last seen. Her name is Holland Snap, and that whole story is it's awful. You should look it up.
Mhm.
But they are they're using Sullivan County Sheriff's Department, her family is, right? And I have Kingsport City. And my lead detective, like, I have a lot of faith in this man. I have a lot of respect for this man. I fully believe in him. However, Sullivan County, like, they more or less ignore the family. Like, it's such a different situation. For instance, a couple months ago, there were remains found in town, right?
Mhm.
And like when it came out publicly that remains were found, I immediately got a call from my lead detective. And he said, I need you to know that it's like, we sincerely do not believe that it's her. So don't freak out. Don't fret. I didn't want you to be upset. I didn't want you to worry. We're pretty sure the remains are male. Please don't repeat that until the press conference tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like he thinks of me, right? And he wants to make sure that I'm okay and that I have all of the information. He trusts me enough to tell me stuff like that and know that
Yeah.
I'm not going to go and spill the beans before the press conference if he asks me not to. So they didn't get that. There were these remains were found, and it was over 24 hours before they knew anything. So they were just wringing their hands and freaking out, and no one called them, or if they tried to call their sheriff's department, like, nobody would answer, or they didn't get back to, like, it was really awful. And it's like, I could be having a much worse experience with law enforcement than what I'm having, right? Like,
Mhm.
they're not letting me in on everything about their investigation, but they are, like, handling me with respect and care in a way that you don't see all the time.
Yeah. A lot of these cases that we have been covering, or that we have covered on this platform, we don't hear that
Yeah.
response. We don't hear that response very often. Let's just say
No.
that, because I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, all law enforcement just doesn't,
No.
isn't transparent." But I do also understand that they're going to play and hold a lot of things close to the vest, especially when it's such a they're hot on the pursuit of something, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to put it out there because they don't want the public to know instantly and all that stuff as well. So I do understand that,
Yeah.
but it's amazing that you are getting better treatment than a lot of these other families that are getting
Mhm.
not so great treatment from other various law enforcement
Yeah.
from their neck of the woods as well. Um, yeah, because for me, it's given the fact, and I also will say this, given the fact that it's almost been a year, at least they're still keeping in touch with you. At least
Yeah.
they're still reaching out and going, okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Just so you know, we think it's male. I don't want you to think
Right.
anything, like hearing that bad news and suddenly thinking that could be Layla and all that. So I commend law enforcement for still
Yeah.
being in touch with you with any developments surrounding your daughter's disappearance. Have you spoken with Mike? by the way. I'm sorry for that left turn of a question, but
It's
have you
okay.
spoken with Mike at all since
It's
the fraud charges
it's
and all that?
not since the fraud charges, no.
Okay.
No. I feel like, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember because he did send me like an angry paragraph at some point
Why an angry paragraph coming from him?
because I had made a little video talking about the different things that he allegedly said in the weeks after Layla vanished.
I see.
And he was very upset about the video that I made. I didn't even really read the whole paragraph, but I could tell just by skimming it that he was not happy.
Mhm.
And that was that. Um, no, it's been quite a while. I feel like the last time I had correspondence with him was around the holidays. We had done myself and Holland Snap's family and my family, obviously, all got together and we were in the Christmas parade. We were at the end of the Christmas parade handing out flyers of the girls and candy and stuff, um, trying to just spread the word. There's still so many people here locally that don't know that they're missing. So we were doing that, and he actually called me, which he had not done this entire time. And he said, "Are you at the parade?" And he offered to come help hand out flyers. And we were already at the end of the parade by this point, so it wasn't worth it. Like, by the time you get here, we're gonna be leaving. Um, he offered, but he did offer to hand out flyers, and I was like, "That's weird. He hasn't offered to do anything
Mm,
at all this entire time that we were
yeah.
doing." Like, it was weird. I don't know. I don't even know what that was all about.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. Um, and most importantly, how's your family, your extended family, your blended family? How are
Yeah.
you guys all handling everything right now? Are you guys okay? How's everything going?
It's hard. It's very difficult. You know, I'm like the one pushing for, more, and I kind of ended up being the whole spokesperson for the Layla case, which you don't often see when it comes to these situations. From what I've seen, moms like get a spokesperson and, don't end up doing all of this themselves or by themselves, I should say.
Hmm.
So it takes up a lot of my time. So they're missing, my boys are missing their sister, but they've also had to watch mom fight and advocate for her, and also had to be okay with less attention because mom's busy doing this stuff, I guess is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. But they're hurting both in their own ways because Layla and Robbie, my older son, they're just 3 years apart and they were super close. Whereas Layla and Elijah are 8 years apart and they weren't as super close. Like, he was very much a baby brother to her and she was too old to like really connect with him or whatever. They love each other. They're siblings, but they're not bonded the way Robbie and Layla are bonded. And
Yeah.
so they're each kind of dealing with the difficulties in their own way, and they each have different difficulties as far as like missing her and grieving and all of the things. They both worry about me. They both worry about what's going to come next and what's going to happen, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
it's,
No,
it's a lot for a family because it's really, I'm the face, I'm the one everyone sees, but like, people don't think about how everyone else is handling it. I don't get
right.
that question a lot, so thank you for asking that.
Of
It's
course.
it's a lot. It's very difficult for everyone, and we're all trying to figure out how to move with it because it's not something that like we can grow from or heal from yet. There's no answers. We have to live inside it and find a way to function that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. And I mean, again, I think it's a question that I think every interviewer, podcaster, reporter, anything that's talking about these cases should ask. Just how's the family? How's the family doing? I mean, because I understand that she is the main focus, but you guys are the ones that are going through a lot
Yeah.
of the trauma and a lot of the stress and the grieving as well. So so I care, and I want to make sure you guys are staying healthy in your minds as well, so that you can keep going out here and asking the questions, keep
Mhm.
putting out the flyers. Because I commend y'all, because some people I know, it's the fight or flight type of situation, right? Some people
Oh,
will
yeah.
just instantly go and sleep all day long,
Yeah.
not move, because they're so depressed, so unhappy, they don't know what to do, because the anxiety just is so overwhelming. It just washes over them and it overpowers them. They don't know what to do. So I commend all the people that are out here, that like yourself and all these other cases that we've covered on this show, that come out and they just keep fighting. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's backlash. Doesn't matter
Mhm.
if law enforcement is just shaking their head and pushing back at them as well. It doesn't matter. You guys keep waking up every single day, and that main goal is to get the word out there about your loved one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta make sure you guys are okay, because if you guys aren't okay, then we don't hear about Layla. We don't know about all these other people that are missing as well. So and I'm hoping that you guys are good and solid, you and your family. I understand, the kids may not understand right now, the young ones especially. They may not
Mhm.
fully understand right now, but they'll when they get old enough, they'll understand,
Yeah.
but right now, this is in the forefront until questions are actually answered, right?
Oh, yeah.
So again, I appreciate you coming on. The other thing though too, that I do want to share, is that you do have a GoFundMe,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
and I want to share that really quick, because I think people need to know what's going on with that, and know about your GoFundMe. Can you explain? Could you let everybody know exactly what this GoFundMe is exactly for, and all that?
Search efforts, flyers, different means of accessing media. For instance, I'm going to CrimeCon at the end of the month. It's next weekend, isn't it? That's happening so fast.
It's happening very, very
Yeah.
soon. Yeah.
I'm going to, to bring Layla to all of the people who can share her the best. I'm very excited about this. I get to go there and advocate and try and convince other creators why she deserves to be shared. So, we're doing that. I do have a private investigator. He's not cheap. um, yeah, yeah.
They're usually
Um,
not. They're usually not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am trying to get together bigger searches so I can get bigger areas done. We haven't searched any waters. Divers cost money, dogs cost money. Like, there's so many things that cost in these situations, and we're only a one income household, and I am staying home with Nova Grace and doing this. Like, this is my whole job. We don't have extra to put towards searching for a missing loved one. Who does? Do you have a savings account for if my loved one goes missing? Like, it's so, oh, you don't
Right.
ever imagine it's going to happen to you, so you don't exactly plan for it,
No.
it's
No.
crazy town.
You
And
save for a rainy day. You don't save for a
right,
hurricane. You see what I'm
right,
saying? So I get it.
absolutely.
I
And
totally get it.
we've been able to raise a $7,000 reward through
Right.
GoFundMe and different avenues like that. So we're getting somewhere. We're very excited about that reward. It just recently went up. So
Well, I will let you guys know. Obviously, the GoFundMe it does exist. They're trying to raise $75,000. That's the goal for this. All goes to the search. This goes to the private eye, and then some. Search and rescue teams, etc. Because let's be real, these guys aren't cheap. Okay, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that will do it on the free 99 for like a second, and then
yeah,
eventually they're going to sit there and go, I need more so I can stay out here and continue working, trying to find your loved one. So, of course, there's the GoFundMe. I pinned her GoFundMe link to the top of the chat on YouTube. By all means, if you want to contribute, you are more than welcome to. That would be greatly appreciated. Her GoFundMe is right there. Again, the family is trying to raise $75,000, and this all goes towards everything in the search and the hopefully safe return of Layla Santanello. So, Jennifer, I want to say a big thank you to you. I really do appreciate you coming onto the show, bringing some awareness to your daughter's case. And, you know, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
I think I can say this in unison from the chat here. We all hope for her safe return, her swift return. And I would hate for it to be an anniversary conversation, right? 1 year anniversary. We don't want that.
No.
And so we're praying for you. And I hope she gets found here very, very soon.
Thank you so much for having me. You don't know how much I appreciate it.
Of course. And we're going to keep an eye on this. And I'm going to keep in touch with you so we can,
if
there's any new updates, anything of that sort, or if we have to just come back on the show and just talk about all this stuff all over again, that is fine. As long as people know about Layla, especially in the state of Tennessee. She could be outside of Tennessee by now too. Anything is possible. So, of course, we're going to keep on talking about it until she comes home.
Thank you.
Anytime. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let you go and do your thing. All right.
Okay.
Godspeed to you. Good luck. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. So, guys, again, I want to remind you guys again, this family definitely needs all of our eyes, ears, hearts, and focus. It's almost been a year since this young woman, this young mother, was last seen alive. Again, Layla Santanello. All right. You just heard from her mother, Jennifer Santanello. And I'm going to read what I said earlier. Okay. So this comes out of Kingsport, Tennessee. All right. Another missing person from Tennessee. Yes, indeed. All right. But she is 5'10". That's how tall she is. She weighs between 115 to 135 pounds. She has brown eyes. She is a natural brunette, but at the time where she was last seen, her hair was bleached blonde. Okay. She is now 21 years old. She was last seen last year on June 27th. Her last confirmed sighting was in a grassy field region behind the AmeriCorps Hotel located at 1900 American Way, Kingsport, Tennessee. Sources say she spoke with a group of men asking for a cigarette on the 27th and walked away shortly thereafter. There have been no confirmed sightings of her since. All right. She's a mother. She has a daughter by the name of Nova Grace. And her loved ones are desperately seeking for any information, okay, regarding her whereabouts. Now, if you know of anything, please call Kingsport. You have two different options. You can call Kingsport Police Department at 423-343-9780, or you can call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Again, 1-800-TBI-FIND. All right. Again, this young girl, this young woman, this young mother has not been seen or heard from in a very, very, very long time. And the thing is that she is a mother as well. Her own mother is taking care of her daughter right now as we speak. So if you know anything, please speak up. Call Kingsport Police Department, or you can call TBI. If you want to contribute, and that's up to you, you can go over to the GoFundMe and contribute. $1 goes a long way. Okay. It's linked to the top of the chat. All we're trying to do is spread awareness and hopefully bring this young woman, young mother, back home to her daughter, Nova Grace. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. All right. Like I said, there are so many cases, so many stories out here of missing people, unsolved cases, M cases, and all that. that definitely needs some time under the sun and some awareness as well. Layla's story and Layla's case definitely needs a lot more time under the sun. Doesn't matter if there's addiction involved or not. This is still somebody who's out here missing, and she needs to be brought home. She needs to be brought home. So if you can, please, all I ask is for you to hashtag her name, share the flyer. If you want to share this interview, you're more than welcome to do that. All I care about is getting the word out there for Layla. That's it. So do me a favor before we get going. Oh, shoot. I forgot about these. Let me grab these really, really quick, okay? And sorry about this. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So Fly Girl, thank you so much. Pascal, she should get in touch with Candace Cooley, Dylan Rounds. I'll see what's up. Okay. And Elizabeth Meyer, thank you so much. Thank you, Pascal, for doing for bringing this to our attention and covering other cases. You are the best. I don't know what DR is, but other cases. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I really do appreciate it. Melly, thank you. Thank you, Pascal, for covering this. And thank you, Jen, for sharing with us. Yes, indeed. I appreciate you guys for being here. It really does mean a lot. And thank you so much for the support, the super chats and whatnot. Because I know this is not a case that everybody is, hopping on. It's not something that's super trendy and all that. But I'm hoping to bring it back into the trendy again. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. Let's bring awareness. Okay, let's do the right thing. Start talking, right? So do me a favor, guys, before you head out, hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you're watching on those other platforms like Facebook, TikTok, X, Instagram, please go hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, crush that subscribe button. We talk about everything on this channel, everything from true crime all the way to pop culture. Whole lot of things in between as well. So please hit that subscribe button. All right. If you want to support the channel, you're more than welcome to hit that join button down below, become a member of the family, or you can go to my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's in the blue ticker, the purple ticker going that way as we speak. All right, guys. But anyway, I will be back on in the next couple hours for a short live. We'll be covering some stuff about Micah Miller. So be on the lookout for that. For sure. All right, guys. Anyway, let's find Layla. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Talk to you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.